Hey everybody, welcome back to KCF Conversations. Today I'm joined by Amber Jensen. Amber, thanks for joining us here.
No problem.
All right, so Amber has been a member of Kitsap CrossFit for quite a long time. How long? When did you start here?
Ooh, I don't know what year, but I'm gonna say like 6 years.
It's got to have been longer than that.
Maybe 7 years then.
Wait, this is almost 2020.
I don't
You
know.
guys were here before when we went to regionals, right?
No.
Oh, you weren't?
No.
Oh, okay. I thought you were here then. Okay. At any rate, you've been here 6, going on probably 7 years.
Yeah.
Okay. And over the time that you've been here, your entire family, your
Yes.
entire immediate family, you, Jerry, your husband, and all 3 of your kids have come through our program. They were in kids class, they've come to teens class. You guys have done everything we've ever offered as far as our group classes, weightlifting. Okay, well, maybe Jerry didn't do so much weightlifting,
No.
but you've done a ton of our
He's got the
weightlifting
Ollie
and lots of
shoes.
other stuff. He does have the shoes, but he hasn't participated that much. But even before that, what did you do? What did you do for fitness before you came to Kitsap CrossFit?
Okay. Almost nothing. So
That's very honest.
running. I did some running, and that's what I was doing before I came here to the gym.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jerry had done some CrossFit before you guys
Jerry
came
did
here.
CrossFit.
Okay.
Yeah, he
And-
did across the water.
Right, over at Edmonds,
Mm-hmm.
right? And was that what got you to come here and start here?
Yes.
Okay.
It was him. He started out in Edmonds. He loved it, but for me, it just didn't sound appealing. Something he's like, this is awesome. I want you to try it. But before, backtrack, what even made me start to do anything at all was, so me and Jerry were married back in 1999, and we had a son, our little family, and when he was about 2.5 years old, he passed away. That's huge. It's
Oh, I
a
can imagine.
huge
I
thing
can
for
only imagine.
any parent to have to take on, and I think I was only 20 at that time.
Okay.
So a 20-year-old losing a baby,
Right.
that was a lot. But
And this was in Arizona?
no,
that-
this is here. We were living
Oh, it's here.
here.
Oh, okay.
We were
Okay.
living here, and we did okay. We survived that shock,
Trauma, yeah.
that trauma, everything. And I had my dad living up here with us because he was dealing with alcoholism, and we were trying our hardest to get him off of it. And so he went to rehab a few times, and we were struggling to get him through the doors, and he went through the doors, and he was accomplishing everything, but home just kept calling him. So he went back to Arizona, and that was the last time I seen him. He was got in a vehicle with his brother, who was driving drunk, and they were both killed.
Oh my gosh.
So that trauma was something I couldn't handle. That was too much for me. At that point, was a time where I had enough. That's what the straw that broke the camel's back. Went into a really, really, really deep depression. I had 2 babies. I had Cody and Maya. They're both babies. They're only a year apart.
And the one that passed away, was he younger?
He was the oldest.
He was the oldest, okay.
Yeah. So after because David was only 9 months
Got it.
when
Okay.
his brother passed away, and then we got pregnant with Cody, and then Maya was a surprise, and then my dad passed away. So I think I spent the better part of that year in bed, literally in bed. I had my sister come so that she can help me with the kids. I had, thankfully, she was able to come help me, and because she was still young herself. But through that time, trying to figure out, okay, we need to get out of this depression. We need to try to get you to be back to being a mom again. We need to figure out what we can do to make you normal, because at that point I wasn't. So, and my body hurt a lot. I was
just
hurting all over.
being in bed
just
and-
being in
yeah,
bed and not doing
absolutely.
anything. So I went to see this doctor here in Paulsbo, and she had diagnosed me with fibromyalgia. And so it was nice to know that there was something that was wrong with me that could possibly be fixed.
Uh-huh.
And so she fixed me with medication, which I never had medication before. narcotics, the heavy stuff, the good stuff.
Yeah.
And for somebody like me at that time in my life, everything went away. My sadness went away. My inability to get up and move, it was gone. I was doing things. I was being a mom again. I was being a wife again. I was doing everything that I was supposed to be doing. And I didn't know that there was a dangerous fall in that. So I kept seeing her, kept taking my medication, kept feeling great. Everything was going good. I thought, fast forward a couple of years, I didn't know that your body adapts to it like that. And I was getting out of control with it too, because every time I started feeling sad, every time I started coming down, every time I started feeling tired or lazy, I would just take more and more, to the point where I put myself in a really dangerous predicament. And I went to Jerry and I let him know, and he told me, you need to go get help or I can't be married to you anymore. So called my family again. Again, my sister came to take care of the kids, checked myself into a rehabilitation center. And when I got out, I was back to being sad. I was back to sleeping. I was back to not wanting to move. I was back to just, there was nothing there for me. Just rehashing everything. All the emotions that I had bottled up for so many years were just coming out. And all I could do was just cry and be sad. And I hated that. And Jerry, my sweet husband, said, you know, there's an addiction. You are an addict. Your dad was an addict. You have a lot of addiction in your family. That's something that you just have to admit to. But don't run away from it. Find something healthy. Like, let's start running. Let's start doing something together. And so him and I just started, because honestly I could not run down the street without running out of breath and just being tired and, you know, losing motivation. But that's what we started with, just running down the street and back. And he was like, set up a goal, like do a mile, like make your goal a mile. And that's what I did. I made 1 mile my goal, and then 2 miles, and then 3 miles. And I was running in the wintertime, and I was running in the snow. And he was so right that that addictive personality kicked in, but for something good. And I ran my first half marathon, which was a huge accomplishment. And after this, he stopped running, by the way.
He got you to run, and he's like, I'm done.
He quit on me after
Mission
about
accomplished.
a mile. After a mile, he was done. But he had found his own thing. Somebody had told him about CrossFit, which was fairly new many, many years ago. He was telling me, he came home, he's like, oh man, like these people are hanging upside down and they're doing push-ups and, you know, all of these things, and I couldn't keep up and I was running out of breath, and I'm like, that sounds horrible. You do that, I'm gonna keep running. But he kept asking me to come join with him, and I didn't want to go all the way to Edmonds.
Right.
And he was like, well, I found a gym in Paulsbo. I think that it would be accommodating. Why don't you just go in and talk to them? I called them already. Let's just go check it out. I said, okay, I'll check it out with you. So I came in here and walked their doors, and you're the first person I seen, and I seen somebody up on the rings.
Somebody hanging upside down?
Somebody was on the rings. Must have done a ring muscle up. But I walked through the doors, and we signed up that day, and I started. And there was a whole bunch of people, and we all got in a big circle, and it was kind of like it was a wonderful feeling to have people be nice, introduce themselves, and, you know, be happy for you to do a silly warm-up or, you know, accomplish something here in the gym that you're so new to and you didn't think you would be able to complete, and you did. Yeah.
So how were those, as far physically, how were those early days for you coming in and doing some of these workouts?
They were hard. Even though I ran, it was still really, really hard to come in, because the movements you do here in the gym, weightlifting, burpees and box jumps, all of that is new.
Right.
I mean, you do these things when you're a little kid, but when you're an adult, all of that is gone. You forget how to do just the basic stuff, you know, that you did for fun when you were little. So, yeah, I thought it was hard. But it was also, to accomplish it, was wonderful feeling.
Yeah, right. Yes, that's a sense of accomplishment. It's hard to explain to people. Like, people understand, like, oh, I'm going to come in and I'm going to improve my fitness and health, but what people don't understand is the deeper success that people have. It's not just physically, like, I'm going to lose weight or I'm going to gain muscle or I'm going to get stronger or faster, but there's a deeper level of accomplishment that occurs that you can't really explain to someone until they actually experience
Yes.
it.
Yes.
So, kind of backing up even more, you alluded to the fact you grew up in Arizona, right? Okay. And so, can you tell us a little bit about your heritage and your background?
I am Navajo. Grew up on the Navajo reservation with a huge family. I come from a huge grandma, grandpa on both sides. Lots of uncles and aunts. So yeah, I didn't think it was rough until you move off the reservation and then you realize, wow, that was really rough.
Yeah.
That was some rough living.
And that's you met Jerry down there, and then you guys moved up here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now you had mentioned this already. So you talk about how Jerry had said that you have an addiction, and that there's a lot of addiction in your family, and unfortunately, that's a reality in the Native American community. There is a lot of addiction. There is a lot of chronic illness and disease in the Native American culture, not culture, but currently among that group, and a lot of it's lifestyle related, right? And I see you posting on Facebook a lot about your heritage, but also about your health and the active steps that you're taking to be a healthier person. So, what does it mean to you to be Navajo, but also to be someone who's actively taking steps to try to avoid that lifestyle, or that the results of the lifestyle?
Ooh, when I write on my posts and I say I'm proud, it's because when you grow up on the reservation, there is not a lot of pride. At least for my generation, there wasn't a lot of pride that existed. You didn't have people telling you did a good job. You didn't have teachers who were encouraging you. You didn't have Navajo culture is a very how can I describe this? If you did something, if you messed up, you would be told, do it again. Digis, nana, which means pretty much saying stupid, do it again. So I don't ever remember having very much of that encouragement of, we had sports. My sister joined track in high school, but my parents never went to any of her games or any of that. They never made her feel like, what she was doing was wonderful. We just know she ran. I tried it, but I wasn't a runner and I just never could. So what that means to me is to feel proud is because what you see on the reservation is alcoholism. What you see on the reservation is poverty. What you see on the reservation is families, broken families. I didn't grow up with athletes. I didn't grow up with the Navajo Times never showed this is who is doing what in this sport. This is who's doing what in this sport, and they're accomplishing it. That's not what I saw ever. So for me to be here and to do the things that I'm doing, it makes me feel really proud because that's something you just don't see.
Yeah.
At least where I come from, at all. No.
Have you been able to inspire anyone else to kind of take a different direction with their health and wellness and fitness?
Not anybody that's come to me and said anything. My mom did. She's joined a gym down there.
Awesome.
at the on the reservation.
Now you brought in your niece.
I brought in my niece and
nephew.
Oh yeah. So she'll text me and say, I need to get back into the gym. I'm feeling very blah. I'm like, okay, we'll get to the gym. Yeah, I would hope I do inspire. I have a lot of cousins online, and I hope that they see my posts and they say, that's a great job.
Right.
And I think, no, I'm not going to say it's because of me, but I'm starting to see more and more posts of my family doing things like, running or changing their diet, trying to clean eating, and yeah, I don't know if it's because of me, but
I'm sure
it's
it
a
is.
change.
I'm sure
There
there's
is a change happening.
some inspiration happening there. Now, what about your kids? Like we said, all three of your kids have been members here. Both, Maya started in our kids program. I think, was Cody in our kids program? Cody was in the kids program. David was always teens, right? But then they've all gone through now our teens program. David's graduated and off doing his own thing now, but we still have Cody and Maya coming in and doing the teens group, which is awesome. What does it mean to you to have your kids involved in this?
I am thankful that we found this place. And one of the biggest reasons is because of the addiction that I understand coming from where I come from. I know what's in my kids. I know that's what my mom said. She says, you have addiction and it runs through your veins. Your dad was an alcoholic. Both your grandpas were alcoholics. Your grandmas were even alcoholics. So it's there. And she always talked about breaking the cycle. She said, if you marry somebody who's going to be like your dad, then you're just going to end up in the same cycle that I'm in. And it's going to be abuse and alcoholism. So it's got to be one of you girls. I have 4 sisters. It's got to be one of you girls who has to be the one to break this cycle. And so I look at it like I don't want my children to, because they're susceptible, I think, in my opinion, that I give them a healthy outlet and something that they could feel good about themselves doing. And they come, they go, they have school projects, so they've got other things that they do, so sometimes they drop out, but when they're not doing anything at home, both of them will be like, oh man, we haven't done anything. I'm feeling really awful. Can you sign us back up for CrossFit? That makes me feel good. That makes me feel proud as a mom. That's like, okay, good. That seed has been planted for them to continue down a healthy way of living and healthy way of being.
So one thing that I love about your family, one thing that I think that makes your family unique, I've never seen a family that not only accepts but seeks out challenges like you guys do.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen every single one of you sign up for things and put your name on the dotted line to go participate or compete in something that most people wouldn't do. And frankly, sometimes you guys sign up for things that I'm thinking, I don't think this is a good idea. Like, you shouldn't do, and then you guys just go and do it and survive, right?
Yes.
And you come back and you're right back in the gym within a day or two. Or, I think about Cody when he was running cross country and he ran that marathon. Most cross country coaches would have lost their minds had they heard one of their athletes was running a marathon during the season. Where does that come from? Where does that spirit of just like, yep, I'll take that challenge on? Where does that come from?
Man, I think
is it a new thing? Is it something that started since you started here, or was there a history of that before? Was it from Jerry?
I'm gonna say no, not from Jerry.
It's not from Jerry. Sorry, Jerry. I tried. I tried to throw you a bone.
I'm gonna say it's both. I think it's Cody's will to prove himself, and prove myself as well. I was thinking on the way here is there was a great deal of pain coming here, a great deal of pain when I walked through those doors. I don't show it, I don't share it, I didn't share it with anybody.
You mean now or when you first started?
When I first started.
When you first started, yeah.
There was a great deal of pain, a lot of baggage I was coming through the doors with. And when I got here, for me it wasn't making friends. For me it wasn't trying to prove myself in any kind of way, being the fastest or the strongest or anything like that. For me it was unloading all of this hurt. For me it was unloading all of this baggage. For me it was unloading all of this pain that I was carrying around that I didn't know that I had so deep seated inside of me. So when I walked through those doors and I was able to do that, I was able to just run and push my body to the point of breaking, and still be able to pass that mental state where you
Right.
want to quit. You're done. You're completely done, and you just want to lay on the ground and do the bacon sizzle. To be able to say, nope, you got this. You've survived so much more. You can keep doing this. And to be able to do that and prove to yourself that you're capable of it, and to unload all of that here has definitely been one of those times where it's you're proving yourself. So I can do it. I can sign up for something ridiculous and know that I can accomplish it. And I think Cody has that same mindset, and Maya just follows. And so is that, you know, I can accomplish that. I can do that.
Right.
So, you know, you can tell me no, I'm going to show you that I can. I think, I don't know, I was pregnant with Cody when we were going through the loss of my son. And I wonder if any of that has an effect on him and how he is now as a kid.
Right.
You know, because of all the sadness that I carried with me. And now I've got this kid who's just rambunctious, and he's got to prove himself to mom all the time, which is good. He can keep proving himself to me. But yeah, I'm happy that he has this outlet, and that I have this outlet, that our whole family has this outlet of release. Yeah. I mean, the bad times have not stopped coming. They're still happening in our family. So it's really good to come here and have that release.
Yeah, you know, I think that's really important to recognize too, is that it's not about sitting back and waiting or hoping or wishing or whatever that the bad things will stop happening. It's about learning how to manage and cope with those things, knowing that they are coming, and knowing that you have a positive outlet to help you kind of cope and manage with those things.
Yes.
Yeah, that's really, really powerful. Well, not only do you come in here and compete in the gym, like the sport of fitness, but you do CrossFit, and you've also competed in CrossFit competitions, but you've also put yourself out there even more and have gotten really involved with the sport of weightlifting, Olympic weightlifting, right?
Yes.
The clean and jerk and the snatch. What sparked that? Because that's like, you know, there's one thing to go to a CrossFit competition where there's you and 30, 40 other people all working out at the exact same time. And you're sort of an introverted person, right? Which I hear. I don't see it that much, but I hear you're an introverted person. But you put yourself into a sport where you're the only person. There's almost a spotlight on you, and everyone's watching you perform solely by yourself. What sparked that?
I didn't put myself in that. I didn't.
Who did? Me?
You guys pulled the chair up. I remember when I was not signed up to do any competitions or any Oli meets, and said, okay, it's just 3 judges and 3 you coaches, put your chairs. And I said, okay, now lift. That's all it is. That's all it is.
That's all it took?
That's all it took. I'm like, okay, that wasn't too bad. When I came in here, you guys had a pretty healthy Oli class.
Yeah,
back
Mindy
in the
was
day.
here, and she ran a pretty good program. Yep.
And so I remember seeing, backtrack many years ago, I seen the sport in a magazine somewhere. I picked up a magazine when I was young, and I remember seeing these weightlifters, and they were doing snatches and, you know, clean and jerks, and they just had those really pretty colorful weights on the bars, and they were lifting just, you know, I don't know, the way they looked, and I thought, man, that is so cool. And then I seen it again a few years later on TV for the Olympics.
Yep.
Yeah, and that was so awesome to see. And that kind of sparked my interest, but again, there was no way to find some place to do that or anything, so, you know, I never seeked further interest in that. But when I came in here and you had the women back here, and they were snatching big weights, and they were clean and jerking big weights, I had seen what I had remembered seeing when I was young, so I wanted to do that. I wanted to try that. And to come back here and lift just a 30, I think I tried a 33-pound bar with nothing on it, and I could not get it over my head without being super awkward and wanting to fall forward. And so I thought, oh my gosh, I'll never be able to do that, ever.
And now not only are you able to do that, but you've literally traveled around the country doing it, right? You've gone down to Vegas and Where else have you?
Reno.
Reno. Where else have you competed? I mean,
just
all
locally
over
here,
the U.S.
yeah.
Yeah, all over
Locally, yeah.
Washington or Western Washington.
Yes.
Yeah, but you've competed at local meets. You've competed at national level meets. You've competed at national level masters meets. And have done pretty well for yourself, right? I mean, that 33-pound bar ain't nothing but a warm up now,
Yes.
right? Yeah.
Yes, agree.
So, a lot of folks look at this, and a lot of folks would come from similar backgrounds where they've had difficult things that they've managed in their lives or gone through in their lives, and they're thought, I don't know what to do. I need to do something, but I certainly can't do that stuff because it's crazy. And you sort of came from that same thing. Like you said the same thing to Jerry. You're like, yeah, it sounds like I'm glad you're having fun with it, but it's not for me. What would you say to someone who's in that situation right now?
Take a chance on it. It's, and for me also, it was, I'm like, I don't want to pay that money, Jerry, because I'm cheap. I really didn't want to pay that kind of money to do it. But fast forward now to where I am and who I am, everything's been well worth it because I took a chance on walking through those doors. My whole life changed, literally. I cannot say where I would be. I'm sure running would have gotten old. It did for my knee. It started to get old for my knee. So eventually I probably would have stopped running. And if I stopped running, I would have been back at home doing what? Probably nothing. Guarantee it. And I don't know if I would have regressed at that point. But because I walked through the doors and I found a community that that was loving and supportive, and encouraging, it's kept me moving forward and continuously moving forward. So taking a chance on yourself and making a bet for your health it's a good one. Yeah, I am truly grateful. I am truly grateful for the people in this gym. It's funny, I was talking to my mom and I was like, there are people in the gym that normally outside I would never be friends with, but here in the gym you get to know somebody, and aside from religion and politics, the two big no-nos, you get to know somebody just for who they are.
Yeah.
And they end up being the absolute best people that you have ever met. And so I love the slogan, community through fitness, because we come in here, we get fit, but there is a loving and supportive community here. And so whether you're the last one, which I used to be, the last one coming through the doors or finishing on a WOD, nobody's judging you. Mm-hmm. Everybody is clapping for you and yelling your name and saying, you can do it, you're capable of it. And yeah.
That's cool. Well, what do you feel like is your greatest accomplishment so far at your time doing CrossFit?
The Oli.
The weightlifting?
The weightlifting,
okay.
Yeah, that has to be my biggest accomplishment. I love them both. I've said it. I love CrossFit and I love Olympic lifting, and doing them both, they both are, I'm not progressing in either one.
Yeah, well, you are too. I mean, you're still hitting PRs.
Yeah.
You're progressing. I mean, if you stopped doing CrossFit and only did Oli, would your lifts go up significantly? They probably would.
Yeah.
But would you be happy doing just that? No, and that's what's most important, right? I mean, your goal isn't to be a world champion per se, right? So you're progressing. You're definitely progressing. Okay, so then that leads me to the next question. What are you looking forward to? What's your next goal? What's the next thing you want to check off the block? Like, I want to accomplish this.
I think we already accomplished so much.
Yeah, but there's always more, right?
A marathon would have been my checklist.
Yeah.
Honestly, I've never ran one, and I tried for the Paulsbo, the marathon that they did here in Paulsbo, and I had to cut it short. I could only do half.
Was that because of your knee?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so that definitely would have been on my checklist for the one thing that I have not done yet, and we did it.
The roots rock around the clock.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I did the 55K. So.
Okay. Well, that's good. No, it is. It's awesome.
That is a huge accomplishment.
But I want to know what you want to do next year.
Oh.
What's coming up next year that you're like, this is on my to-do list?
Oh, the AO3 with Kim.
Okay, so more weightlifting, American Open, yeah.
Sarah.
Is that in Vegas again?
It's in
Okay.
Vegas. You.
Oh, me. Oh, I got
Yes.
roped into this.
Carol.
Oh, yeah, let's start calling some people
yeah.
out. There we go. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, we'll get we'll get
Brandy,
some of the teens in there too.
Oh yeah, definitely. They need to get the teens in here and start lifting some weights.
Brandy Morgan, as in
Uh-huh.
Dr. Brandy Morgan. I like that. Okay.
Who else can do that?
We need to get Ricky and some of those. Did you call Ricky in?
I did not call Ricky.
You
He's
should
a
call Ricky
he's
out.
a CrossFitter.
He's a CrossFitter, but he lifts weights sometimes. He did a weightlifting meet.
Did he really?
He did do a weightlifting meet, yep, at Industrious, so we could call him out.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Or somebody talks a lot of trash about Oli. I didn't know that.
Yes, he's done it.
That'll be fun. That's AO3.
AO3 in Vegas in September.
Mm-hmm.
You heard it. You just got called out, so you better start lifting some weights. I gotta get my shoulder
Anybody.
working again.
Anybody, really?
Yeah.
I mean, that's funny because there's a lot of girls who come back here and they're like, I can't lift that. And it's like, neither could I.
Right.
But I am now. And you just have to dedicate yourself. And like,
Yeah, I mean,
I could never do a meet. Neither did I.
Right.
Go speak to Dan and he'll get a couple of coaches and sit in front of you.
Right, exactly. I mean, if I would have known it was that simple to just pull a chair in front of someone and I could get them to sign up for a meet, I'd have done it to everyone.
Yeah.
So. Well, thank you for spending time with us today. I actually learned some stuff about your story. There's some parts about your story that I wasn't aware of. And so it's even more meaningful to me that you've been here with us as long as you have, and that this has had such a positive impact on your life and on your immediate family, on your family's lives, your children and your husband. And we absolutely appreciate having you all here. And I love sitting back, even though sometimes I'm shaking my head, I love sitting back watching you guys all just take on challenges and things that most people wouldn't think to do.
Yeah.
So cool, keep doing that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Thank you. I
Yes.
appreciate it. And also, I know I talked about the kids a lot and our family in general, but there are a lot of husbands and wives who come in here and they do date night power hour, but they're in here working out together. And I think that has been a huge building block for me and Jerry's marriage is coming in here and working out together and being healthy together,
Yeah.
healthy mind, healthy body. Our spirits are healthy. It makes for a stronger marriage. It truly does, in my opinion, because it's you're letting your frustrations out, and you're also accomplishing something that's good and healthy. You go home and you feel good.
Yeah, I mean, there's something to be said for when you, whatever it is, it's a trying time, like the passing of your son, or it's something significant, way less significant, but just going through a really hard workout. But when you go through something challenging, you grow from that,
Yes.
right? And so that's my belief with starting the teens and parents classes. I mean, we're going to do one coming up here soon. I'd like for that to become a more regular thing because, they say that you form strong bonds when you eat meals together regularly. And I believe that we could push that even further if we get families to work out really, really hard together and go through really hard times, if you will. I believe that those bonds will be even stronger. And we know that it's true for marriages, and that's pretty cool. It is really cool when you sit back and look at all the couples that are here and how they've grown and developed. It's cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
All right. Well, thanks again.
Thank
I need
you.
a big hug. That was awesome. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
And look forward to seeing you around the gym.
Yes.
All
All right.